Hello and welcome to Clearview Television. We are reaching you live from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. As AFCON Tournament 2022 holding in Cameroon draws close, commercial sex workers in capital Yaounde hike charges. Another pastor in police net for raping 5 months pregnant woman in ONDO state. More than 50 people feared dead in the U.S. state of Kentucky in a wave of tornadoes. I am Prudence Okona with the details of these and more stories. Commercial sex workers across Cameroon's capital Yaounde have increased charges ahead of the upcoming African Cup of Nations AFCON tournament. According to a Cameroonian source accessed by Clearview TV, charges have been increased up to double the initial payable amount. The tournament that was scheduled for January 2021 was postponed following the outbreak of the dreaded coronavirus pandemic. The AFCON tournament will be held in Cameroon from Sunday 9th of January 2022 to Sunday 6th of February 2022. Kenya's national team, Harambee Stars, will be missing from next year's edition of the African Cup of Nations tournament. However, neighbors Sudan and Ethiopia will represent the Eastern African region in the tournament. Cameroon's national team, otherwise known as the Indomitable Lions, features in Group A alongside Burkina Faso, Ethiopia, and Cape Verde. Senegal go head-to-head with Zimbabwe, Guinea, and Malawi in Group B, while Morocco clash with Ghana, Black Stars, Comoros, and Gabon in Group C, having won the last edition of the AFCON tournament. Algeria head into the contest as slight favorites. Algeria faces Sierra Leone, Equatorial Guinea, and Ivory Coast in Group E. Meanwhile, a celebration galore in Cameroon as former international Samuel Eto'O will run Cameroonian football for the next 4 years after being elected head of the country's FA this Saturday. The four-time African Footballer of the Year defeated rival Sido Mbobo Njoya, the fourth vice president at the Confederation of African Football. 7 candidates should have contested the elections, but 5 of them pulled out on the morning of the elections. ETO'O 40 has promised a wide range of reforms to thrive the sport. The former Barcelona, Inter Milan, and Chelsea star has also promised to construct at least 10 stadia during his mandate, adding that he has spoken to the business community and they are certain the right investors who can accompany them in fulfilling the goals will show up. Eto'O's candidacy had triggered popular attention with the proceedings of the gathering broadcast live on national Cameroon television. It will now be head of Cameroon's FA Foot when the country hosts the Africa Cup of Nations in January and February. Arguably Africa's best footballing export of recent times, Eto'O, Cameroon's all-time top scorer, joined Spanish giants Real Madrid in 1996 at the age of 16. Internationally, Eto'O helped the Indomitable Lions win 2 successive African Cup of Nations in 2000 and 2002. And men of ONDO State Police Command have arrested a popular pastor of Celestial Church of Christ, Benga Filani, for allegedly raping a 5-month pregnant woman. Pastor Filani, who is also a popular broadcaster in the state, allegedly raped the woman inside the church premises. Clearview TV learns that the 19-year-old lady, identified as Bukola, was allegedly raped when she came for deliverance at the church. The victim, while narrating her ordeal at the police headquarters in Igbatoro Road, Akure, the state capital, said the clergyman used anointing oil to rub her private part before the incident, which happened after a church service. Accompanied by her mother, the victim said the pastor inserted his middle finger on her private part several times, especially when she was being prayed for in the church premises after the service had ended. The lady said Filane started by pressing her stomach and asked how many months the pregnancy was, and she told him 5 months. Narrating her ordeal further, Bukola said the pastor and broadcaster promised to do some spiritual work for her before delivery and led her into a room inside the church. On his instruction, the lady removed her clothes and was following all his instructions until the act. According to her, she came to her senses after he had sex with her and forced her to swear she will not tell anybody or else she was bound to die. President Muhammadu Buhari Friday dispatched a high-level delegation made up of the heads of the nation's intelligence and security services to Sokoto and Katsina states in response to the recent spike in bandit activities. According to senior special media aide Garba Shehu, the president is expecting an immediate situation report and recommendations on the actions to follow to effectively deal with the worrying situation. The delegation led by the National Security Advisor, Major General Babagana Mongonu, retired, is made up of the Inspector General of Police, Usman Al-Kali Baba, the Director General of the TSS, Yusuf Magaji Bichi, the Director General National Intelligence Agency, Ambassador Ahmed Rufai Abubakar, and the Chief of Defense Intelligence, Major General Samuel Adebayo. The president's latest action was prompted by the recent gruesome killing of several travelers in Sokoto and the assassination of a commissioner in Katsina State. President Buhari, in an earlier statement, expressed sadness and condemned the killings. The president extended deep condolences to the families of the victims, assuring Nigerians that security agencies would continue to give their all to bring an end to the operations of the criminals. And hundreds of people have taken to the streets in several cities in northern Nigeria and the capital, Abuja, demanding action by the authorities to end the worsening violence sweeping through the region. Armed gangs have recently stepped up killings and kidnapping people for ransom, including students, travelers, and worshippers. In Abuja, protesters gathered at the popular Unity Fountain Square to highlight the deepening insecurity. Demonstrators vowed to continue with the protests. They said the government is not doing enough despite the deployment of thousands of troops. In some of the latest attacks this week, at least 16 people were shot dead in a mosque and dozens of passengers burnt alive by gunmen. Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has encouraged residents of the state to go back on their knees to seek the face of God in prayers for a better successor that will surpass his achievements come 2023. Governor Wike bared his mind at the commissioning of the Rumuola flyover in Rivers State.
The Governor Wike administration has commenced another phase of commissioning and flag-off of projects across the state. The exercise kick-started last Thursday with the commissioning of Rumuola flyover. The Rivers State Governor says his administration has successfully delivered 9 multi-billion naira flyovers in 2 years.
We now have a dual-carriage flyover in place of a single-carriage flyover with expanded and reconstructed service and exit lanes added to it.
I challenge APC in this state to challenge the government of PDP in this state, whether we have done well or whether we have not done well. They have nothing to say but to say, let us tell ourselves the truth. This PDP has done well. In 9 flyovers in 2 years. So it is to tell you the commitment we have. Governance is all about the people. Governance is all about making promises and fulfilling the promises.
To further sustain the successes recorded by his administration, Governor Wike wants Rivers people to pray and work for a worthy successor.
Continue to pray for us so that our successor will do better than us. So we will have somebody who will not disappoint the people of the state. So we will have somebody who will not be too selfish to understand that the interest of Rivers people is more than any other personal interest.
While inaugurating the project, the former governor of ONDO State, Dr. Olusegun Mimiko, describes Governor Wike as a man driven by his love for his people.
And I also pray with you that the good Lord that has positioned you will also position a successor that will continue along this path. Well, part of the bane of development in Nigeria is sustainability. You come, you put in your best, then some funny guys may come and just dismantle everything. And permit me to say that you do love projects. A kind of love driven by your love for your people, especially the masses.
Dr. Mimiko used the occasion to add his voice for more restructuring in Nigeria. He therefore notes that restructuring is not an end in itself, but an imperative means to a just, more productive and more prosperous nation.
You're watching Clearview Television News. More stories to come after this timeout.
Listen to this truth. We are growing by the day, and our viewership keeps growing on our different platforms. We are inviting you to advertise your goods and services with us at incredibly low rates. And do you have news for us? Script or video? Please contact us through our email address, clearviewnewsroom@gmail.com, or WhatsApp line 080 650 30300. Again, 080 650 30300. Welcome on board.
Welcome back. In contemporary times, tribal marks have become the dying lore of ancient days. In Nigeria, tribal marks were used as means of identification and beautification among some ethnic groups like the Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo, Igala, Tiv, Kanuri, and others. Clearview TV's Chidinma Okafor in this special report says the use of tribal marks is fast being seen as offensive and inhuman by some Nigerians.
Tribal marks in the olden days were used to identify people of a particular locality, especially in times of wars, which were common at that time. But in the present day, the use of national identity card or international passports appears to be generally acceptable. A number of reasons, including health hazards arising from facial mutilation due to the use of unsterilized blades and crude tools by non-professionals, account for the gradual rejection of tribal marks. According to popular Nigerian politician Senator Dino Melaye, the time has come for Nigerians to do away with tribal identity marks. It says, carrying out facial mutilation is a form of infringement on the fundamental human rights of the child because it is being done without the child's consent. And if any culture infringes on the fundamental human rights of a person, it should be abrogated.
That bill was in 2016 November, and it's a bill against facial mutilation. And you give mark to a child without the consent of that child. The child grows up and says, oh, if I was not a child, I would have resisted this. And that is an infringement on the fundamental human rights. Any culture that infringes on the fundamental human right of that person should be abrogated, because the fundamental human right as enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, drawing tribal mark from Igala land to Ibadan to some other parts of Nigeria where you still find a child that is under 7 days old, being facially mutilated and all sorts of designs on their faces. And this mutilation and cuts and tribal mark is not done by professional medical experts. It's not done by nurses or people who have medical experience. It's by some very local people who use unsterilized sharp objects. And this results in diseases that will give either permanent disabilities to some of these kids, and in most cases, they even die of infections.
In November 2016, Senator Melaye sponsored a bill for the abolition of tribal marks, which passed the first and second readings but was yet to scale the third reading before its tenure ended rather abruptly following the decision of the Election Appeals Panel that nullified his second-term victory. He expected that the prohibition of tribal marks bill would have been represented before the State or House of Representatives by one of the members in the House, but wasn't. The Kogi-born politician says if he finds himself back in the Senate, he will definitely push for the representation of the bill.
Every bill dies with a particular legislative section. So if the bill is not passed and assented to by the president in that legislative section, the bill will have to be reintroduced afresh in another legislative session. If I find myself again in the Senate, I will definitely want to push it to a logical conclusion.
Like Senator Dino Malaye, not a few Nigerians see everything wrong with tribal marks, even as some see nothing wrong with it.
My mom briefed me on what happened when my dad came back from work. We're in Kaduna. I was born and brought up in Kaduna. And when my dad came back from work now, he met my mother, because my mother brought me back from the village then. Said, why all this mark? And the thing caused serious issue.
My dad actually have a tribal mark, and it somehow don't look good on him. So it's not something I want anyone to do to my child.
My child, tribal mark. No. It won't sit well with me and her. No. I won't accept it.
Well, I would not react in a negative way because I believe in culture. But not a very, massive mark like that though. Yeah.
For many, tribal marks as part of Nigeria's cultural heritage may soon be a thing of the past, as more and more people no longer fancy giving their newborn babies such ethnic identities. Whether the implementation of tribal marks should be abolished in Nigeria through legislation remains to be seen. Chidima Okafor, reporting for Clearview Television.
A marriage is a beautiful union of two or more people that creates a family tie and carries legal, social, or religious rights and responsibilities. It is not new for one to find well-edited photos of couples depicting the perfect life scattered all over the internet. Couples are usually keen to celebrate their spouses on birthdays and anniversaries with long captions and sweet words of endearment. A couple, however, did the opposite by dressing as prison inmates to mark their wedding anniversary. Let's now join Gloria Atta for details of these and more stories on our entertainment segment.
Hello and welcome to our entertainment segment where we bring you juicy stories from the entertainment industry. I am Gloria Atta. Stay with me. Actress Ada Ahmed took to her Instagram page this morning to celebrate her late daughter Alhadi on her 33rd posthumous birthday. Alhadi, who was Ada's only child, passed on in October last year. Posting a lovely video collage of Alhadi on her Instagram page, Ada wrote, "Happy posthumous birthday, my beautiful angel. I miss you so much, my beautiful baby girl. I can imagine how she's feeling right now. Stay strong, man. Sending you lots of love and hugs." A couple celebrating their 5th wedding anniversary came up with a unique idea to show they are in marriage for the long haul. The couple organized a mugshot-inspired photoshoot that saw them dressed in orange jumpsuits like prison inmates. In photos shared online, they are seen holding mugshot letterboards with the words 5 years served and sentenced to life written on them. Heart robbery was written on the board as their crime. Brand expert Kingsley Egbe shared the photos and wrote, "Not every time a perfect picture representing marriage with all the glitz and glam of a well-tailored suit and gown or some elegant native attire. Truth is, sometimes we all feel like we traded our freedom and we are locked up in it." That's true though, but the sweet and sour experiences are what makes the ride most memorable for people like me, Sha. I'm not married. Nollywood actress Lucy Donald has taken to social media to celebrate after she received a luxury car as a Christmas present. The thespian, who recently went on a vacation to Istanbul, revealed she returned to meet the car, a Mercedes-Benz, waiting for her. This is the kind of surprise I like, oh, please. Christmas is around the corner. I'm open to start receiving Christmas presents. As I'm entertaining you, please entertain me with gifts. A marriage counselor, Reverend George Ludendort, has said that mistresses are part of God's grand scheme for a successful marriage. He disclosed that God blesses side chicks and therefore no cause from an embittered wife would work against another woman. Hey, wahala. Counselor Ludendort made this shocking revelation in an interview while discussing boundaries in marriage. He referenced the Bible as proof that God blesses men with more women, noting that King David's son Solomon was a man after God's own heart who built a holy temple with his large entourage of wives, mistresses, and concubines. Now, wow, these days everybody is now a relationship counselor. Once again, Let me drink water and mind my business on this matter. Kim Kardashian West wants to be declared legally single amid her ongoing divorce from Kanye West. The 41-year-old Skims founder filed court documents on Friday asking to separate issues of child custody and property from her marital status. According to the outlet, which reported that she additionally asked to have her maiden name restored, Kardashian West and Kanye West share 4 children: North, Saint, Chicago, and Sam. The Keeping Up with the Kardashians alum filed for divorce from the rapper in February after nearly 7 years of marriage. The new court filings come amid West's repeated public pleas to get back together with Kardashian West. The latest plea came on Thursday when he dedicated his song Runaway to his ex while performing at the Free Larry Hoover concert at the Los Angeles Coliseum. I wish they get back together, Sha. Alright guys, that's all we can take today on our entertainment segment. Many thanks for joining us. I am Gloria Atta, leading you back to Prudence.
Thank you, Gloria. And moving on, the governor of the U.S. state of Kentucky has warned that more than 50 people are thought to have been killed by tornadoes overnight. And the bishop said the figure could rise to as many as 100 in what he called the worst tornadoes in the state's history. He said the devastating figure was probably closer to somewhere between 70 and 100. Tornadoes are wreaking havoc across several U.S. states, with workers trapped in an Amazon warehouse in Illinois. More than 100 people were inside a candle factory in Mayfield, Kentucky, when the tornado hit. It's not yet clear how many people were hurt by the roof collapse, but local emergency services have called it a mass casualty incident. And a number of Nigerians have lauded New Zealand's attempt to crack down on cigarette smoking. They are also calling on the federal government to consider enforcing similar laws in Nigeria to help curb cigarette consumption among the populace. Clearview TV's Gloria Atta interacted with some residents in the nation's capital, Abuja, and now brings us details of her findings.
In one of the world's toughest measures to curb deaths caused by cigarette smoking, New Zealand on Thursday said it will ban young people from buying cigarettes for life. Under the measures, New Zealand plans to make it illegal to sell cigarettes to anyone aged 14 and under from 2027. The ban will remain in place for the rest of the person's life. That means anyone born after 2008 will not be able to buy cigarettes or tobacco products in their lifetime under a law expected to be enacted next year. New Zealand health authorities say smokers typically take up the habit during youth, with 4 in 5 New Zealanders who smoke beginning by age 18 and 96% by age 25. By stopping a generation from taking up smoking, they hope to avoid about 5,000 preventable deaths a year. The country, through this legislation, hopes to achieve a smoke-free generation by 2027. Tobacco remains the biggest public health threat, killing more than 8 million people globally every year. All forms of tobacco are harmful and there is no safe level of exposure to tobacco. Cigarette smoking, however, is the most common form of tobacco use worldwide. A global adult tobacco survey done some years ago estimated that 4.5 million Nigerian adults smoked. Thus, Nigeria continues to dominate in the smoking epidemic. In a bid to save the present and future generations from the dangers and risk factors associated with cigarette smoking, some Abuja residents who interacted with Clearview Television recommend that adopting similar laws against sales of cigarettes on the Nigerian soils will help in producing better individuals and reduce social vices among the citizens.
If the law is being enacted in Nigeria, it will help a long way to affect the youth positively, because the youth we are having now dwelled more on this so-called age, digital age, which is also affecting them. Majority of our youth now have gone into cigarette smoking.
I think it's something to imbibe and something that the Nigerian government should also start to look towards. It's going to be a hard one, considering the fact that this is an act that works around, the there are a lot of people who are already addicted. We're talking about addiction. It's hard to cut people off from addiction. It's a process, so it's going to be really hard to enact such laws. But I think it's a good one.
So I think implementing that kind of law in Nigeria is actually going to be take us somewhere, because right now the youths are actually smoking too much. Most everybody you meet these days are smokers, girls, guys, and it's really bad. You understand? Bringing up stuff like that on cannabis, I think that's weed. So not just cigarettes.
If me, I have the power to stop it, I would have stopped it long time ago, because this our new generation, or this our people now, we are taking it for granted. We are abusing it. We take it too much and they don't know the precaution. So to me, they are doing the right thing. I just wish Nigeria can start implementing that law today.
More than 8 million people who are tobacco users die each year, and more than 7 million of those deaths are the result of direct tobacco use, while around 1.2 million are the result of non-smokers being exposed to second-hand smoke. If proper legislations are made and enforced against sales and indiscriminate use of cigarettes, Nigeria would not only be reducing mortality rates, but also become a healthy and wealthy nation. Gloria Atta reporting for Clearview Television.
That'll be all, but before we go, a look at our top stories. Commercial sex workers across Cameroon's capital Yaounde have increased charges ahead of the upcoming African Cup of Nations tournament. The Afcon tournament will be held in Cameroon from Sunday 9th January 2022 to Sunday 6th February 2022. End-time prophecies as men of ONDO State Police Command have arrested the popular pastor of Celestial Church of Christ, Benga Filani, for allegedly raping a 5-month pregnant woman. Pastor Filani, who is also a popular broadcaster in the state, allegedly raped the woman inside the church premises. We also told you that tornadoes have wreaked havoc on the U.S. state of Kentucky, as over 50 people have been reported dead from the ravaging storm. Remember to like us on Facebook at Clearview Television, follow us on Twitter at Clearview Online, follow us on Instagram at ClearviewTV_NG. Also remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel on Clearview TV. I am Prudence Okona. Many thanks for joining us.